For this explainer, we're diving into something you probably haven't seen before, a real 6th grade math lesson. And this one has a highly unusual premise. It actually uses biblical stories and the concept of faith as a data set to teach core mathematical principles.
So, that leads to the obvious question, right? What on earth could algebra and biblical stories possibly have in common? I mean, it's a pretty wild pairing. This lesson, though, it tries to build a direct bridge between the two. Let's unpack exactly how it's supposed to work.
So the whole thing is built on this core idea, a direct mapping of math terms onto spiritual ones. The lesson basically proposes that faith can be treated like a variable, something you can measure and analyze, just like any other number in an equation.
All right, so first things first, the lesson lays out the standard mathematical definitions. You've got your independent quantity, that's the cause, the thing you change or control in an experiment. Then you have the dependent quantity, which is the effect, the result that you measure. This is the foundation for tons of experiments in science and math.
And this is where the lesson takes its really unique turn. It maps these math terms directly onto life experiences. So the independent quantity gets defined as life's circumstances and trials, and the dependent quantity, the thing being measured, is a person's faith and their behavior.
This quote from the lesson itself really shows you the main idea. The whole goal is to use math to illustrate the concept of unwavering faith. They're framing faith as a dependent variable that should, ideally, stay constant no matter how much the independent variable, hardship, changes.
Now, to prove this idea, the lesson doesn't use your typical two trains leaving a station kind of word problems. No, instead, it turns to 3 famous biblical stories, treating them like actual case studies, like data sets that you can chart and analyze.
The first case study up is the story of Job, who, if you know the story, goes through an incredible amount of suffering. The lesson frames his story as the perfect example of someone whose faith stays totally constant, even as his trials, the independent variable, just get worse and worse. And here's how they actually quantify it in the lesson. This table shows that as the trial number, the independent variable, goes up from 1 to 3, the dependent variable, faith level, just stays locked in at a perfect 10. The data is set up to show 0 correlation.
The second case study follows the exact same logic. This time, it's Daniel in the lion's den. The external threat changes, but that internal state of faith, again, it's presented as completely constant.
And yep, another data table to make the point. The independent variable here is the lion's hunger level, which they show increasing from 3 to 5 to 7. But Daniel's faith level is shown holding steady at a 10. The message is that his faith was totally independent of the danger he was in.
Okay, but the third case study? This one changes things up. It's a bit of a plot twist. Instead of just enduring the independent variable, this example is all about actively changing it. The focus shifts from just having faith to having authority over your circumstances.
You can see that shift right here in this bar chart. At first, you've got high wind speeds of 20 and 50, and the calmness level is way down at a 2. But then, in that last reading, the wind speed drops to 0 and bam, calmness shoots up to a 10. The lesson's takeaway is that an act of faith directly changed the independent variable itself.
So, we've seen the math, we've seen the case studies, but what's the ultimate point here? Well, the lesson ties all of this together with one single theological anchor.
And this is it. The lesson ends with this verse from Isaiah 41:10. It's presented as the reason why the faith level variable can, in this way of thinking, stay constant no matter what happens with the trials variable.
Of course, no lesson is complete without some homework. So let's take a quick look at how the students are actually asked to apply this unique mix of math and biblical stories. The method here is pretty systematic. Students aren't just supposed to remember the stories. They're asked to think like data analysts. They have to identify the independent and dependent quantities in a new story, plug that into a table, graph it, and then analyze what it all means. So the homework questions really push them to use this framework directly. You can see they're asked not just to tell the story, but to actually graph data from it, create tables, and use the specific language of variables to explain concepts like faith and authority. So when you boil it all down, the core of this whole approach is using the objective, analytical language of math to try and frame and analyze these very subjective spiritual concepts. It's a direct merger of 2 very different worlds of knowledge. And that really just leaves us with a final thought to chew on. This lesson, no matter what you think of the premise, is a really clear example of interdisciplinary teaching. It makes you wonder,
Where else do we find these kinds of unexpected connections between fields that seem totally unrelated?